Exam Scholar, Real Estate Edition.
Question 1. What is the function of the FHA in regards to loans? A. The FHA loans out money. B. The FHA loans out money and insures loans. C. The FHA insures loans. D. The FHA pre-qualifies potential applicants. Answer. C. The FHA insures loans but does not issue loans. Question 2. If Ronald owns a parcel of land that he has converted to a self-sustaining farm complete with a fence surrounding the property with no trespassing signs posted, he is able to enforce this notice by which right? A. Right of solitude. B. Right of ownership. C. Right to exclude. D. Right to dispose. Answer. C. Ronald has the right to exclude because it is one of the rights bundled into the legal rights of ownership. Question 3. A valid tenancy at will can be created between lessor and lessee in which situation? A. An oral agreement to lease for 2 years. B. An oral agreement to lease for 3 years. C. An oral agreement to lease for 6 months. D. An oral agreement to lease for 5 years. Answer. C. As long as the lease is for a time frame of 1 year or less, a valid tenancy at will can be created orally. Question 4. Seller financing in regards to a loan is also known as A. Legal. B. Purchase money mortgage. C. Balloon loan. D. Cash price negotiator. Answer. B. A purchase money mortgage is also called seller financing. Question 5. If Greta's potential home purchase lies within a flood zone and she wishes to receive any type of federal mortgage loan, she must also purchase A. An environmental hazards impact report. B. An environmental hazards blanket insurance plan. C. Flood insurance available from the federal government. D. A watershed insurance plan. Answer. C. Flood insurance must be carried if the property lies within a flood zone. This type of insurance is available from the federal government. Question 6. When Jenny and Max sign the document that includes the price and terms of the property of which they are ready to buy, they create A. An option. B. A purchase agreement. C. A purchase offer. D. A listing. Answer. C. Until a seller accepts their document that includes their terms and price, it is considered a purchase offer. Question 7. An oral agreement to lease a house for 2 years for a monthly lease rate of $1,250 comes under A. The legal rights of leasing. B. The Statute of Frauds. C. The Articles of Incorporation. D. The Statute of Lessors. Answer. B. Under the Statute of Frauds, any oral agreement to lease for a time frame of more than 1 year is not enforceable. Question 8. An agent working under a broker is offered a new barbecue grill by a seller they are working with if the agent can produce a buyer by the end of the month. The agent does produce the buyer and the seller wants to give the agent the barbecue. What should the agent do? A. Accept the gift graciously and thank the seller. B. Inform the seller that it is not legal to receive such compensation from anyone except the broker. C. Offer to come pick it up at a later date. D. Decline the offer because of the health effects of burned meats. Answer. B. Only the principal broker may give out compensation. Compensation can come in the form of gifts, merchandise, vacations, money, etc. Question 9. The right to occupy a property for a specified period of time without outside interference is known as A. Squatting, B. Leasehold, C. Estate for years, D. Possessive acquirement. Answer B. A tenant has the right to enjoy the subject property for the duration of the lease, leasehold. After the expiration of the leasehold, the rights revert to the owner. Question 10. A landlord is allowed to access the premises unannounced in which they own for A. Any reason. B. To make necessary repairs. C. In case of emergency. D. None of these. Answer D. A tenant is allowed the right of quiet enjoyment of a property while under lease, and the landlord must give proper notice before accessing the premises. Question 1. When a loan is fully amortized by equal monthly payments of principal and interest, the amount applied to the principal A. increases while the interest payment decreases by a constant amount. B. increases by a constant amount. C. stays the same. D. decreases while the interest payment increases. Answer A. When amortizing a loan by equal monthly payments, the amount applied to the principal gradually increases while the amount applied to interest gradually decreases. Question 2. In order to bring court action to collect a commission earned for negotiating a month-to-month rental, the broker A. must have a written listing signed by the owner of the property. B. could not have charged more than 25% of the first month's rent for his services. C. must have been registered with the real estate commissioner as a rental broker. D. he'd prove only an oral agreement to pay a commission. Answer D. Contracts which are to be performed in less than 1 year, such as a month-to-month rental, and agreement leading up to the final contract, listing for a month. Question 3. A primary source of funds for residential mortgage financing is A. Federal Home Loan Bank. B. Federal Savings and Loan Insurance Corporation. C. Federal Savings and Loan Associations. D. Federal Housing Administration. Answer C. The primary source of funds for residential mortgages is federal savings and loan associations. The money ultimately comes from household savings, but the sources for the loans are the savings and loan associations. Question 4. A balloon payment is a part of A. Fully amortized loan. B. Final payment made on any loan secured by a trust deed. C. Partially amortized loan. D. None of the above. Answer C. A balloon payment is defined as the final payment when it is an amount more than twice the smallest payment and the loan is classified as partially amortized as opposed or fully amortized. Question 5. What actions can the Federal Reserve Board take to increase the supply of money and credit in the national economy? A. Lower the cash reserves required by banks which are members of the Federal Reserve Bank System. B. Sell U.S. government securities in the open market. C. Raise the discount rate charged banks which are members of the Federal Reserve Bank System. D. Increase the requirements of banks which are members of the Federal Reserve Bank System. Answer A. If the Federal Reserve Board lowers the reserves required of member banks, it will increase the amount of money available in the economy. Question 6. When reading an amortization table/chart, the amount shown as the payment based on a given loan amount, rate of interest and term indicates A. Yield. B. Both principal and interest. C. Interest. D. Principal. Answer. V. An amortization chart, table, will show the monthly payment which includes both principal and interest required to pay off a loan of a given amount, rate of interest and term. Question 7. The security of a loan made on real property depends upon A. The borrower's credit. B. The value of the property being liened. C. The stability and value of money. D. All of the above. Answer. B. The property is the underlying security for the loan. Question 8. The requisites of a grant deed when compared to a land contract of sale may differ with respect to A. Interest conveyed. B. Signatures of the principal parties. C. Designation of purchased price. D. All of the above. Answer. D. A grant deed and a contract of sale differ in the signatures of the principals, as a grant deed requires only the signature of the grantor, but the contract of sale requires the signatures of the vendor and vendee. They generally do not disclose the purchase price in a grant deed but must in the contract of sale because it is a contract. A grant deed has implied warranties and the contract of sale has no implied warranties. Question 9. In advertising a listed property for sale, a broker may not legally A. Run an ad which does not give the listing price of the property. B. State the kind of financing available. C. Fail to state the street address of the property. D. Run an ad giving the impression that he is the owner of the property. Answer. D. For a broker licensee to use an ad which gives the impression that the property is being sold by the owner himself/herself when the broker has, in fact, secured a listing on the property, would constitute substantial misrepresentation. This kind of action is unlawful. Question 10. When an owner of real estate sells the property to someone else, which of the sticks in the bundle of legal rights is he or she using? A. Exclusion. B. Legal enjoyment. C. Control. D. Disposition. Answer. D. To dispose of something is disposition. The legal term often applied to this stick in the bundle of rights is alienation. It is a right often taken for granted but did not exist in feudal times or in countries in which the land belonged to the people, the government. Question 1. What is used to convey title to items sold in a business? A. A deed. B. A bill of sale. C. A title of trust. D. A receipt. Answer. B. In conducting a transaction in a business, a seller legally conveys title to an item with a bill of sale. In this case, the correct answer is bill of sale as it is most correct. Question 2. What is sales tax considered? A. A tax on any property sold. B. A tax on anything sold. C. A tax on tangible personal property. D. A tax on income. Answer. C. Sales tax is a tax on tangible personal property. Typically, sales tax is not charged on electronic media products, delivery of products, and other related items. Question 3. If a broker obtains an exclusive listing, the broker can be reimbursed for expenses when A. There is an expense that was unforeseen by either party. B. There is more advertising that needs to be done. C. It is authorized by the seller. D. None of these. Answer. C. Expenses that a broker accrues are normally not reimbursable unless specifically authorized by the seller. Question 4. In the exercise of police power, which of these is not related? A. Public health. B. Safety. C. Compensation. D. Morals. Answer: C. Compensation need not be paid in the exercise of police power. It is to be used by the state for the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the people. Question 5. A series of ordinances enacted by a state or local governmental entity, establishing minimum requirements that must be met in the construction and maintenance of buildings is best known as A. Zoning. B. Building codes. C. County building laws. D. Eminent domain. Answer: B. Minimum requirements that must be met in the construction and maintenance of buildings that are ordinances enacted by the state or local government is best known as building codes. Question 6. An offer has been accepted by the buyer and the seller. The buyer and seller instruct the broker to return the deposit money to the seller. The broker A. must return the deposit money but can sue for the commission. B. can refuse to return the deposit money because the deal has closed. C. has the option to sue for a commission or return the deposit money. D. can choose to do as he or she wishes. Answer: A. The broker in this type of circumstance must return the deposit money if instructed to do so by the seller. However, the broker can choose to sue for any commission money due if needed. Question 7. If another offer is introduced to an agent on the sale of a home, the agent A. must submit the offer to the seller immediately. B. should wait to have a response from the seller on the first offer. C. must notify the prospective buyer that there is another offer already in place. D. none of these. Answer: A. All offers on a property for sale must be submitted to a seller immediately. Question 8. If a note is sold for less than the face value, this is known as A. percentage note. B. discounting the note. C. note sales fraud. D. none of these. Answer: B. Anytime a note is sold for less than its face value, this is known as discounting the note. Question 9. A person that can obtain funds for a purchase of property is known as A. a true buyer. B. an able buyer. C. a slam dunk. D. pre-qualified. Answer: B. In this case, the correct answer is able buyer. In some cases, if the buyer has already gone to a lender and the lender has verified everything is okay to make a loan, this would be called pre-qualified. Even if a buyer is pre-qualified, however, there still can be issues that can cause a deal to fall through. Question 10. Under a trustee's power of sale, the right to foreclose a trust deed expires. A. in 3 years. B. in 5 years. C. in 7 years. D. never. Answer: D. The right to foreclose on a trust deed under a trustee's power of sale never expires. A trust deed is not a contract but a conveyance of title. Question 1. Which of the following cannot be defined as escrow monies? A. promissory notes. B. security deposits. C. personal bonds. D. earnest money. Answer: C. Personal bonds cannot be used as escrow money because the escrow money must be immediately available in most cases. Any of the other answers listed are acceptable for escrow monies. Question 2. Which of these are considered a protected class under the Fair Housing Amendments Act of 1988? A. A dog. B. A child. C. An immigrant. D. A single mother. Answer. B. Of the listed choices, the presence of children in a family were added to the Fair Housing Amendments Act of 1988. Question 3. Ben, the landlord, wishes to charge Betty extra rent because she has a child living with her. This would be considered A. Legal. B. Illegal. C. Legal in certain neighborhoods. D. None of these. Answer. B. This practice is illegal according to the Fair Housing Amendments Act of 1988 that included the presence of children in a family as a protected class. Question 4. Building heights, setbacks, and density are usually established by A. Local building inspectors. B. Zoning regulations. C. County ordinances. D. State general plans. Answer. B. Zoning regulations control the use of land as well as determine building heights, setbacks, and density. Question 5. What does the Real Estate Settlements Procedures Act cover? A. Residential mortgage loans. B. 1 to 4 family mortgage loans. C. Commercial mortgage loans. D. Installment mortgages. Answer. B. Also known as RESPA, the Real Estate Settlements Procedures Act covers 1 to 4 family mortgage loans, including equity loans. Question 6. Careful zoning can have which effect on property values? A. No change in property value. B. Increased property value. C. Decrease in property value. D. None of these. Answer. B. Proper and careful zoning can increase property values by means of the principle of conformity. Question 7. If Jerry sold his land to Margaret, he could inhibit Margaret's future enjoyment of the property by what means? A. Nothing. Once the property is sold, it belongs to Margaret to do as she pleases. B. Through zoning laws. C. Through deed restrictions. D. Through court order. Answer. C. Deed restrictions are restrictive covenants on the use of the property that run with the land. Question 8. Abel has the right to cross through Peter's property to get to his property. What is this right called? A. A license. B. An appurtenant easement. C. A habendum clause. D. A contract. Answer. B. Abel has an appurtenant easement that allows him to cross over Peter's property to get to his own. Question 9. If Nancy owns the property that Heather crosses over to get to her own property, Nancy owns which parcel? A. Dominant. B. Neutral. C. Subservient. D. Servient. Answer. A. Because Nancy owns the land that Heather has to cross over by easement to get to her property, Nancy is said to have the dominant parcel. Question 10. In order to bind a contract between two parties, consideration must be A. Money. B. Goods or services. C. Money, goods, or services. D. Anything the parties agree upon is valuable enough. Answer. E. Consideration in a contract can be anything agreed upon between two parties that they consider to be valuable enough to satisfy the contract. Question 1. Which of the following is not a way in which mortgages and trust deeds differ? A. Securities. B. Title. C. Statute of limitations. D. Parties. Answer. A. They are both security interests in property. They provide the legal right to have the property sold in the event that the borrower defaults. Question 2. The statutory dedication process is completed when A. The appointed representative of the city or county signs accepting the dedication. B. The final subdivision map is recorded. C. The dedicated area is completed. D. Local authorities deliver a signed acceptance to the subdivider. Answer. B. Upon the final subdivision may being recorded. If the subdivider has dedicated an area through a dedication certificate and the dedication has been accepted by the properly authorized official, then the recording of the approved map would be the final step in the statutory dedication process. Question 3. When duly recorded in the county where the property of the judgment debtor is located, an abstract of judgment for money awarded by a court becomes A. An involuntary lien. B. A voluntary lien. C. An attachment lien. D. An equitable lien. Answer. A. A lien is a money encumbrance. In this instance, the encumbrance is placed on the property without the owner's consent and is, therefore, involuntary. Question 4. At 12 noon, Baker made an offer to purchase a single-family residence. He instructed his real estate broker not to present his offer until 6 p.m. By 6 p.m., 3 more offers had been submitted. The real estate broker should A. Ignore the other offers. B. Present all offers to the property owner in the order they were submitted. C. Present all offers to the property owner simultaneously as soon as possible. D. Wait until the seller acts on the first offer before presenting the other offers. Answer. C. The rule of agency is that all offers must be presented to the seller and let the seller make the decision as to which offer to accept. Question 5. One side of a section equals how many feet? A. 43,560. B. 5,280. C. 2,640. D. 1,000. Answer. B. A section is 1 mile on each side. 1 mile equals 5,280 feet. Question 6. Which of the following is required in a valid homestead? A. Statement that claimant is residing on the premises and desires to claim it as a homestead. B. Statement giving the exact cost of the homestead at time of purchase. C. A description of the property including a description of the improvements. D. Signature of both husband and wife. Answer. A. Any person filing a homestead is required to reside on the premises at the time that he records the homestead and to sign a statement that he desires to claim it as a homestead. The person claiming a homestead does not have to give the cost, or a description of the improvements on the property, and it can be filed by either a husband or a wife. Question 7. The broker, as agent of the seller, owes the buyer A. Only a duty to disclose any item which relates directly to the sales price of the property. B. The same fiduciary obligations he owes to the seller. C. Only the duty to answer questions honestly. D. The duty of honestly and fair dealing. Answer. D. This deals with the responsibility an agent owes the buyer when the licensee is the agent of the seller. He owes the seller fiduciary obligations, the buyer, the duty of honestly and fair dealing. Question 8. Harry owns a building in a commercial area of town. Tina rents space in the building and operates a bookstore. In Tina's bookstore, She has installed large reading tables fastened to the walls and bookshelves that create aisles from the front of the store to the back. These shelves are bolted to both the ceiling and the floor. Which of the following best characterizes the contents of Tina's bookstore? A. The shelves and tables are trade fixtures and will convey when Harry sells the building. B. The shelves and tables are trade fixtures and may properly be removed by Tina before her lease expires. C. Beck. As Tina is a tenant, the shelves and tables are fixtures and may not be removed except with Harry's permission. D. Because the shelves and tables are attached to the building, they are treated the same as other fixtures. Answer B. Common law protects business tenants who install fixtures for their business by treating these trade fixtures as their personal property and giving tenants the right to remove them before the end of their lease. Any damage to the building due to removal is to be repaired by the departing tenant. A licensee who participates in the sale of business property should make known to purchasers what, if any, trade fixtures there are that will not convey with the building. Question 9. A real estate license is A. Constitutionally protected right of the individual. B. Privilege granted by the state. C. Right granted by the Office of the Attorney General. D. None of the above. Answer B. Like a driver's license, it is a privilege. Question 10. If, in a transaction, the amount made as a deposit is not sufficient to cover the monetary damages incurred by a party to the real estate sales transaction, the following party could not file an action in a court of law. A. The buyer. B. The seller. C. A real estate broker acting as an agent for his principal. D. An attorney action for his principal. Answer C. A real estate broker acting as an agent for his principal is a special agent. The broker's powers are limited to acting in the sale of the property. He has no power to file a court action for his principal.
Exam Scholar, Real Estate Edition.